This is the Toyota RAV4, and in my eyes, this is the pinnacle of sensible, reliable transportation. In a world where SUVs and crossovers dominate the car market, the RAV4 has always been a heavy hitter in its compact SUV segment. But is it the best? That's what we're going to find out today. Let's get into the design. Starting with the grille, it has a unique shape to it, and it's undeniably a Toyota. This LE model has a flat black grille, while other trims have other grilles. These hexagonal cutouts allow air to get into the engine and have a very distinct look to them. The bumper has a lot of sharp intersecting angles to give it a bold appearance, and the lower part is flat black and will take a beating well over time. I'm going to take a second to roast some other car reviewers. So there's fake vents in this bumper, and I'm so sick of other car reviewers whining about it. This is a RAV4. This is what mom takes to go grocery shopping and pick up the kids from soccer practice. Who cares if the vents are fake? This car's clientele certainly doesn't. If your Supra came with fake vents, then being upset would be valid. A nice feature of the RAV4 is that LED headlights come standard. Taking a look at the side profile, you can see this car has very exaggerated, sharp and straight creases, and the overall side profile paints a very boxy and angular picture. This car is a very rugged, truck-like appearance. You got a little bit of chrome above the doors, and you get that flat black again along the bottom of the doors and around the wheel wells. This one here comes with some nice side body molding to protect the door from dings. Taking a look at the wheels, this is a 17-inch steel wheel with a hubcap cover. It's 2023, and cars have gotten so ridiculously expensive that absolutely no new car on the market should be coming with hubcaps, let alone a car that costs nearly $30,000. Turning to the back of the car, you have more of that flat black at the bottom and some nice dual chrome exhaust. The badging is all blacked out and helps keep things looking clean, especially against this dark gray paint. I'm a big fan of the shape of the taillights and how from the side they're a bit three-dimensional and stick out from the body. This triangular point that the light creates really emphasizes that angular personality of this car. Now I have one major issue with these lights. Even though they're LED and look good, the brake lights leave me scratching my head. As you can see here, when the brake lights come on, they only illuminate this tiny bottom corner of the taillight housing. It should at least light up this whole section of the housing up to the hatch door, so people can actually see that you're braking. This makes no sense, and Toyota really dropped the ball on this one. You have incandescent and halogen bulbs for the rear turn signals and backup lights, which is still pretty typical for the segment. Opening the rear hatch, you get 37.5 cubic feet of space with the seats up and 69.7 with the seats folded down. Taking a look under the hood here is a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, putting out 203 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 takes roughly 8 seconds, and that's delivered by an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy ratings are combined 30 miles per gallon, that's 27 city and 34 highway, and the capacity of the fuel tank is 14.5 gallons. On the interior, this base model comes remarkably well equipped. This is what I like to see. Standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, okay? Give the people what they want. Down below in the console, there's several different driving modes to choose from. Normal and Eco for better fuel efficiency, Sport mode for better acceleration, and more off-roady kind of modes like snow, mud and sand, and rock and dirt. You also get an electronic parking brake hold, idle stop, and traction control switches. All very great standard equipment. Backup camera has trajectory lines and decent resolution on this 7-inch screen. The layout of the center stack is uncluttered and intuitive. Your AC controls are all together and straightforward. The materials in here are a mixed bag. The dash is very nice with soft padding and some nice looking stitching, but the door panels are all hard plastic except for some padding for your elbows. It's a base model, so I guess. These speaker covers are very cool though. Storage space is plentiful, glove box is a good size, there's a little cubby right above the glove box that can hold some small things, and the center console is a good size as well. There's also a nice convenient sunglass holder up above. So now I'm sitting in the back, right behind where I have the passenger seat adjusted for myself at 6 feet tall, and there's good room back here. Legroom is rated at 37.8 inches. You get one pocket behind the passenger seat, a center armrest, and air vents, and a 12-volt outlet. Now this test drive is going to be a little bit different. My good friend Riley was kind enough to drive an hour out here to let me film this video with his new 2022 RAV4, so he'll be driving. I'll be riding along in the passenger seat, and we'll be having a conversation all about the RAV4's driving characteristics as we drive around. Enjoy. Alright, so ride quality. I love riding in Toyotas because they all ride ridiculously smooth. With the exception of the last Toyota Corolla, because I drove that car, I hated it. It was rough. And I was disappointed because it didn't drive like any other Toyota. But no, this car, it's very smooth, almost like floaty. I would call it like, it's like riding on a cloud. Really, it like luxury car smooth. And it's also pretty quiet in here. It's a lot quieter than the other cars I've tested. You hear just a slight bit of wind because it is a windy day, but in terms of just like road noise, it's pretty quiet. Also, on the topic of Toyota ride quality, back when I was 17, when I took my driver's test, my driving instructor had a 98 Camry. So I was taking this road test in this car that was as old as me, but even that car rode ridiculously smooth. So like, these things are they stand the test of time. They're smooth, they're well running, and like they stay that way even 17 years later. So on the highway, road noise, it's still pretty quiet. I mean, you hear some, but it's pretty well insulated. So I'm impressed. And also all these, like, you can see there's a lot of construction going on over here. There's a lot of unevenness in the road, but it's on these transitions kind of going up and down over these bumps. It still glides nice and smooth. Now we're gonna try out the acceleration test. So to do that, as always, you're gonna put it in sport mode and let it rip. Right. From a 203 horsepower engine, 8-speed automatic transmission, definitely does not struggle getting up to speed. And especially for highway driving where you would need that kind of power, no issue. Audio clip we just heard is from this bass system. It's a 6-speaker system. Higher trim levels are going to have a 11-speaker JBL system, but what we just heard from this system, it has good power, but it's also very well balanced. It has like the bass is substantial, but it's not like overpowering. The trebles, the mids, the bass, everything comes together pretty well. Overall, the sound blends pretty well, has decent clarity. All right, man, so tell me about some of the experiences you've had with the safety features while you've been driving.
All right, so I think it's pretty cool that the base model has radar cruise control, which is the same as regular cruise control, but you can set a distance, and then once you reach that distance of the vehicle in front of you, the car will just slow itself down. And then if you turn on the lane keep assist while you have the radar cruise control on, and you start to drift out of your lane, it'll beep letting you know you're drifting, but then the wheel will also kind of just correct itself to make sure that you stay in your lane.
And what about the collision avoidance, the braking?
Oh yeah, luckily I haven't had to try that out yet, but every car is supposed to have that. So if you're gonna get into a crash, it should. First, it'll tell you that you have to brake, and if you don't, then it'll stop the car for you, allegedly.
So we got a few twists in this road. We'll use this to demonstrate the steering and the handling. So how are you feeling on these bends here, especially like downhill with a little bit of speed?
It feels fine. Like I'm not worried at all that it's gonna like tip or come off balance or anything like that. It just feels really solid.
All-wheel drive definitely helps.
Yeah, that too.
So overall, with the experience you've had with the steering, how would you describe it? Do you think it feels heavy or like really light? Like, how would you rate it?
It feels really light. I mean, as you know, I just got rid of a 2006 car with hardly any power steering at all, so this feels like I'm not even doing anything.
Good point. Yeah, in my experience driving Toyotas, I've found their steering to be a bit light, so that makes sense. I remember one time in particular, I was driving, I think it was a 2015 Toyota Avalon. I was on I-95 and I felt it felt like I could steer that car with my pinky, and also it was a bit unnerving because I felt like I had to really flex my arms just to keep that car straight.
Yeah.
And it felt like with every little bump it was just gonna, I mean, do you think it's that light or it's a bit more controlled than that?
I think it's really well balanced. Like, it's easy to turn, but it's not
too easy.
I'm not worried about it going crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
In conclusion, the RAV4 is a no-brainer. 30 miles per gallon on a non-hybrid SUV is outstanding. Ample cargo space, good standard equipment, and Toyota reliability, it makes perfect sense that this is the top-selling compact SUV of 2022, with Toyota selling just under 400,000 units of the RAV4. This LE model with all-wheel drive comes in at $28,375, and I think there's a ton of value for that money. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and tell me your thoughts on the RAV4 down in the comments, and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to see more reviews like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.